Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.
With all this sunshine, there's been some really bad news. Have you watched the news on what's going on with these? There's been a number of dogs that have been eating these mushrooms that have been popping up. Now that the sun's out and all this rain has come, and they're like called death cab mushrooms, and these poor people have lost their animals, and they lost their dogs because, they just let them out to play, and the dog, they go, the dogs will eat anything, and they eat these mushrooms, and they die within 24 to 48 hours. There's no way, once they eat it, if you can't get their stomach pumped, there's nothing you can do. It's horrifying.
Where are these mushrooms growing?
And I feel like there's
in particular,
we can't talk about it enough. I know that the story that was on the news,
no, you can't, because
came from Arroyo Grande.
I have
that
not heard
area.
of it. I'm an owner of 2 dogs that has mushrooms growing in his front yard.
So I went. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are they whitish kind of colored?
Yeah.
It's just Google image a death cab.
See, the thing is, my
I think that's what they're called.
dogs have eaten these mushrooms for a while, and they haven't died. So I think I'm safe.
Oh, Jeff, okay. Well, here we go. This is kind of what they look like. It just looks like any old mushroom that you see that grows up out of the ground, and they're so lethal for dogs and animals. And so my dog, he's in this. He's what is
looks
he?
exactly like the mushroom that grows in my yard, but my dog must have a different stomach.
He's 13 months old. He's still a puppy. He wants to eat everything. The leaves blows down the driveway. He's got to run and catch it and eat it. And now we're like, no, don't eat the leaves, because we're always trying to get him. So now it's a game. So now anytime he sees one, it's like keep away from us. Like we play keep away from him. And so yeah, these mushrooms are bad. They're called death cap, not cab, like death cab for cutie, but like death cap, like a baseball cap. And I know they're in the 5 cities area.
What a menacing name for something that grows in the ground. Right. I understand why it kills dogs within 24 hours.
I had these I'm pretty sure I had these at my house the last time we had rain, a big heavy rain, and they grew and then they died and they're gone. And so I'm going to go buy a bunch of, I don't know how you get rid of these things. I'm going to buy some weed killer and just kind of saturate the garden area up where the dog can't get to, and just to make sure, because
you're going to saturate the area where the dog can't get to.
Cannot get to. Well, I don't want him to blow down or something. I don't know. I don't want the particles to blow into the grass, and I have that kind of that.
More mushrooms grow in the grass.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. So, anyways, it's just a heartbreaking story, and I feel so bad for the people out there that have lost their animals, their loved ones, for something so silly that you think you just it's let them outside, and your backyard could be a threat. So just watch out for these things. Google it today, death cap mushrooms, and make sure your animals don't fall victim to it, because it's bad.
I don't know how many mushroom varietals grow on the Central Coast.
There's a lot of them,
but
right?
I think this is going to put the fear into everybody that they're going to be on top of if they're dog owners, they're going to be on top of their lawns like white on rice. Like they're going to be like looking around. Like I'm going to do this, even though I know my dogs. Like, I know that this mushroom does not grow in my yard.
Like chanterelle mushrooms that grow wild up in Paso Robles? Or just, up in your North County area. Yeah. Or actually anywhere. I think in Arroyo Grande, too. And they're very good, and restaurants pick them, and they put them in their dishes.
Probably not the ones that are getting
chanterelles are very good. But, do you know the difference between a chanterelle and something?
No.
I never did that stuff.
Nobody can.
Well, I think if you were a Boy Scout, maybe.
There are people that, listen, I had some roommates in college. They knew some differences between some mushrooms.
They're like, hey, man, get the red one with the white polka dots.
I'll never forget when I had to go pick them up in a rainstorm because their van wouldn't start after going and picking shrooms in a ravine. And I get there, and it takes me like 45 minutes to get to the ravine. And it was like in a neighborhood. It was like in West Seattle. Okay, it wasn't even like I had to drive to the mountains to pick them up. It just happened to be a green space in West Seattle. And it's pouring down rain, and they're climbing up a muddy hill with sacks of mushrooms.
Jeez.
And there's like a house across the street, and the neighbor's coming out, and he's like, "What's going on out there?"
Oh, don't mind us. We're just going to get high.
He looks at him. He goes, "Oh, we're just looking for our dog, sir."
Yeah. Oh my God! Yeah, mushroom people are interesting people. I've known a few in my day. I haven't talked to any in a while. Now the people I talk to are, they're chefs, and they pick these things for the different dishes, like the chanterelles. But this death cap mushroom is very lethal and toxic to animals. So make sure your dogs stay away from that. And there's my public service announcement for the week.
Mushroom is a scary dynamic because, like, if I picked a mushroom out of the yard
Yeah, you wouldn't know what it is.
and say I was rich and I was a real big jerk and I like to play with people's lives, like literally with their life, and said, "I'll give you $1 million if you eat this mushroom." Would you eat the mushroom that I picked out of my yard?
No. I mean, number one, you don't have $1 million, but even if you did.
No, I'm saying if I was rich and I was a jerk. That's what I'm saying.
No, I don't think. I want to live.
I got just stacks of money over here.
But if
Come
you
eat
said,
my mushrooms.
I don't know, if you put $1 million down in front of me and I said, all right, can I eat this at the ER?
Yeah.
And then I walk and say, all right, pump my stomach.
And get tested immediately.
And by the way, I kept a little of this mushroom. This is what I ate.
I do live a couple blocks away from a hospital, but you got to walk.
Subscribe to the Jeff and Jeremy podcast now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, and YouTube. It's your Central Coast commute-friendly podcast.